Hola amigos y buenos dias. This lesson is all about how to order food and drink en un café or en un restaurante. So the first thing we need to do, as always, is get el vocabulario. We'll start out with a few drinks. You might have un café, un té, un vino blanco, un vino tinto. Or you might have agua. Now, when I order agua en un café or en un restaurante, I like agua con gas. That very important word, con, means with. So, agua con gas, sparkling water. Some people want it with ice, con hielo. It sounds like the colour, yellow, but it's spelt with a silent H, I-E-L-O, hielo, con hielo. Bien. When you're ordering un café, you might want it con leche. Or the opposite of con, which is with, is without, sin. Sin leche. Or maybe you want sugar and they haven't brought it. Con azúcar, por favor. In Spain, the letter Z is pronounced with a th. Now, I don't do that because I learned to hablar español in Peru, and there is no lisped Z in Peru. So it's azúcar for me, but azúcar for people who are speaking in España. Bien. You might also want some vocabulario about the kind of vessel. So, una copa de vino is a glass of wine. You could also have un vaso de agua, a glass of milk, un vaso de agua. So, copa is probably more used in España, and un vaso is probably used in Latin America. Listen to the people around you and choose the word that they're using. Also, una taza de café or una taza de té is a cup of tea. There are also food items in this unit, and as you go through the unit, through la unidad, you need to apuntar el vocabulario. I have written some of el vocabulario in my journal for you to aprender, estudiar, memorizar, and conjure up from memoria. The way to do it is to make sure that you know what the words are en inglés, and maybe you can do that by grouping them. So maybe you have 5 drinks. Then you know you have 5 drinks. With a blank piece of paper, you can recall the 5 drinks. Okay, food. We might want sin queso, without cheese, or you might be offered una hamburguesa, which is a hamburger. Maybe you are vegan, so you might want una hamburguesa vegana, which is a vegan item of food. If you are, then you will want it sin queso, without cheese, sin carne, without meat. Okay, in some countries, this concept of not eating meat isn't as common as it is in other countries, so you may need to really express that you don't eat carne, queso, leche, no bebo leche, huevos, and maybe pescado, and that pescado means fish. It comes from the same word that gives us Pisces, so that might help you to remember. All the connections that you can make are useful. Con carne, with meat, we're used to chili con carne, so you know that con carne means with meat. Okay. You also have un sándwich de queso, un sándwich de pollo is chicken. Make sure that you write down all el vocabulario, todo el vocabulario que es relevante para ti, and regardless of whether you like something or you don't like something, you might need it so that you can say you want it or you don't want it. And that leads us on very nicely to el verbo de hoy, which is querer. Querer means to want. And it could also mean to love. So you might hear people saying te quiero in songs, for example, and that means I love you, te quiero. So querer, you can see, has no I in it. But yo quiero, it has an I in it. This makes it an irregular verb in Espanol. Tú quieres, él quiere, ella quiere. This is very useful if you're ordering food para tus amigos, tu familia. Yo quiero una ensalada. Mi madre quiere un vaso de agua con gas. We have nosotros queremos. Oh, look, the I has disappeared again. We want. Nosotros queremos una mesa para cuatro, por favor. A table for four, please. Vosotros queréis. And ellos quieren. And there's that I back. Just for vosotros, listen to the pronunciation, queréis. And all the way through, remember, QU in Espanol make a K sound. So, quiero, quieres, quiere. Queremos, quieren, and queréis. Bien. Now, the most important sentence you can learn in any language, and this is a Steve Kaufman joke, is ella quiere pagar. That is, she wants to pay. And that is when you're putting the bill on somebody else who doesn't speak Espanol. Él quiere pagar, por favor. Bien. This brings us to answering questions. So as you go through Duolingo, collect the sentences in a journal. It could be my journal that I've created in a custom-made way, or it could be just your own notes. But collect the sentences. If you don't collect the sentences on paper, you can't test yourself outside of the app. You can't always recall. I can't always recall somebody's name, let alone a whole language. So I need to write it down. Collect your sentences, collect your questions, las preguntas. So the questions, por ejemplo, could be, ¿Quieres una mesa? I'm going to answer that. Sí, queremos una mesa para dos. Aquí, por favor. ¿Necesitan agua? Do you need water? Sí, 2 botellas de agua con gas y 4 vasos, por favor. Use Google Translate to get the answers you want. Keep the sentences simple, and then you can perform them, maybe to your own camera that you have on your phone. You can also go back and revisit and build upon diálogos that you've already done. ¿Usted quiere una hamburguesa con queso? No, gracias. Quiero una hamburguesa sin queso, sin ensalada y con tomate, por favor. All right. Last of all, I think it's a really good idea to make some personal statements about yourself, so you know that they are the most relevant that they can be to you. So this is from journal questions that I have put on a document for you to download if you would like to. I think it's a great idea to keep a journal in Espanol. You can use Google Translate to help you. The question I've chosen for today is ¿Qué has comido hoy? I should have mentioned that word que. It's so importante, and it means what. So, ¿Qué has comido hoy? Is what have you eaten today? ¿Qué has comido hoy? And you can use that word what with want. ¿Qué quieres? What do you want? ¿Qué quiere? What does he want? ¿Qué quiere ella? What does she want? Or ¿qué quieren? What do you all want? Right, so, ¿qué has comido hoy? We'll get back to that. Hoy, yo he comido cereales, and that was breakfast, cereales, y he comido sopa y patatas fritas, también he comido pepitas, little seeds, de girasol, and that is sunflower, girasol. Sunflower, it turns to the sun, girasol. Pepitas de girasol. Okay, I hope that you enjoy creating your own personal experience, writing stuff down, memorizing the vocabulario, using the questions and sentences from Duolingo as prompts for your own Espanol, and using your own personal diary that you can then go back on and read again, and it'll be vocabulario que es relevante para ti. Muchas gracias, amigos. Hasta la próxima. Adiós.